Hello everyone, before we start the video, let me make a disclaimer. Not a vet, not a vet tech, but I'm a pretty darn good farmer and livestock stewardess. So let me explain to you real quick. What I'm finding is that homesteaders, farmsteaders, and farmers are some of the most critical people in the world. I hope that you find in this video support and suggestions that work for you. If your ideas or the ways that you do it are different, please share it in the comments. But understand this, what I care about most is keeping my vet bill to zero and keeping my animals as healthy as possible. For our 8-year-old Dotson, it has literally cost me $0 for vet visits in 8 years. For our 3.5-year-old German Shepherd, it has cost me, rounded up, $200 in 3.5 years in vet bills. That includes all medications, all care, all visits. So for 2 dogs over 8 years, I have spent less than $200 in a veterinarian's office. Yet I have the most well-behaved, well-trained, and loving dogs, well cared for, in perfect health. So I hope that that means something to you and that you watch the video all the way through, because we're going to give you some very good tips on raw food feeding of your canines. You guys have a blessed day. Enjoy the video. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Starkey Farmstead. So let's talk about raw feeding your dogs. I've had a lot of people ask me questions. How am I doing it? Well, to be honest, I'm brand new at it. Hammer has always had blood, rabbit bone, rabbit meat, and organ meat from both rabbits and chickens his entire life raw, okay? I've always either put that into his dry food or given it to him as like a snack. Now I have moved him, he's 3.5 years old, I have moved him to a completely raw diet along with the Dogo puppy. And I did find a calculator on the BARF, B-A-R-F site. If you're wanting to raw food feed your dogs, I advise that you go to that site and check it out. And I found a calculator that what you do is you put in your dog's weight. So Hammer is like, he's back up to like 84 pounds. So I just rounded up to 85. 85 times 0.05. And the equal, right? So that tells me how many pounds of raw food he has to have a day. Now, I crush up eggshells and I also give them raw chicken, raw turkey neck. I'm talking about the bones, like the raw bones, uncooked. Rabbit bones, they have to have bones in their raw food diet. So it can't just be ground beef. Like, that's not going to give your dog everything that he needs. He's going to need connective tissue. He's going to need organs. He is going to need bone. And he's going to need muscle meat. So it can be kind of confusing. The way we're doing it is 15% of the weight of the food they need to eat that day is bone. Now, I was given some very good advice. Someone told me to call the local packaging area, slaughterhouse. For me, that's Cotrairs. I called them. They collected their bone dust from when they cut their meat today for us. It's several pounds and it only cost us $4. We're going to go to Kentwood and pick that up. Now, what that's going to give my dogs is fat, connective tissue, bone powder, basically, and some bone marrow. So if I don't have bone to feed that day, I can put a couple of handfuls of that on top of their raw meat, and it's like they got a piece of bone. So that's a way you can do it if you don't always have bone to add into their diet. You can also crush up eggshell to supplement some of that 15% of their bone. Now with rabbit bones can be fed raw. I had no problem with that. Like, I was good with that. They're very flexible, easy to chew for your dog, uncooked rabbit bone. For me, to give my dogs a raw turkey neck, bone and all, and to feed them an entire chicken, bone and all, it kind of was like a shock, because we've been taught here in America, never, ever give your dogs chicken bones, turkey bones, any of that. It'll splinter inside of them and kill them. What I have found is they mean cooked. Uncooked chicken bones and turkey necks are completely okay. Make sure you don't get smoked. That's cooked. Okay, it's got to be raw. And I'm gonna be honest, finding organ meat in today's world in America was extremely hard, okay? Like, the laws won't allow processors to give back livers any longer, all that stuff. So, I mean, it was really hard for me to find raw organs for my dogs. So I went up to Muse 3 Farms and I picked up this amazing beef heart and beef tongue. Now that's going to be, the tongue will also obviously be the muscle for the day, the muscle meat for the day when I feed that. I won't feed any other muscle meat when I feed the tongue. The heart would be the organ portion of what they need for their organ meat that day. But what I did do was, we know some people that were butchering out hogs, and I said, hey, can you grab me the kidneys and the liver? I will purchase them from you, and they're delivering them to my house later tonight. That way, my dogs are getting heart, liver, and kidneys, not just from the rabbits and the chickens, but they're also going to be getting it from pig and cow. So that's really important that you mix up the type of foods that you're feeding them, the types of meat. You don't want to just give them beef. You don't want to just give them pork. You don't want to just give them raw fish. You don't want to just give them eggs. Like, they need a little bit of everything, guys, or they will begin to show signs of diarrhea. I learned that with the puppy. Like, all I had was muscle meat for a day or two. I fed that to him, and what I saw was him go from these really nice stools to almost like a watery stool. And that was because I wasn't balancing the meat properly. Can it be a little nerve-wracking? Yes. Do you feel like you're not doing it right and maybe you should put him back on a bagged food because you want his nutrition to be adequate? Yes. Don't do it. Keep at it. You'll figure it out. The puppy, when we got him, isn't he adorable? Like 9 days ago, he weighed 21.5 pounds. When we weighed him last night, he weighed 25.5 pounds. 9 days, he's gained 5 pounds. He's tremendous, guys. He's growing so fast. I cannot imagine how big he would be on bagged kibble, because I know what would happen. Like, all that extra protein and stuff that they put in those bagged feeds would just shoot him up so much faster than God intended for him to grow. So even if you can only do it for a couple of months, or if you can only raw feed twice a week, feed them kibble 5 days, and then maybe over the weekend, just raw meat on Friday night, raw meat on Saturday night, no kibble mixed in, because I'm learning takes their stomach 2 different ways to digest those foods. So don't mix them. Mistake I made also in the beginning with Hammer. So that's what I'm telling you guys. You can do this. You don't have to raw feed all the time. Is it better for your dog? Yes. Is it gonna be expensive? Yes. But an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So if you could just get the raw meats and organ meat into your dog when you're butchering out livestock on your farmstead or your homestead, throw it to your dog. Like, you're only gonna boost their immune system, give them real protein, and help them be the best that they can be. The last thing I want to talk about, people ask me, well, if your dogs are eating chicken and rabbit off of your farmstead, but they're supposed to guard them, how do you keep them from killing that livestock? Training. My dogs are allowed to eat it. They are not allowed to kill it. And good training will stop that. You teach them, you're the one that butchers out. You're the one that processes. They're not allowed to make that decision. It's just training, guys. I've heard a lot of myths. Like, people would ask me when Hammer was a puppy and I was feeding him raw blood from whenever we were butchering, that's going to make him mean. It's going to make him mean. Some of you have met my dog. Most gentle soul in the world. Like, not mean at all. Not mean at all. It's not going to make your dogs mean. Okay? It's not going to make your dogs aggressive to the livestock. If that behavior is exhibiting, it's just training on your part. And you just need to put a little bit more effort into it, okay? So I hope this helps you guys. I mean, I'm not an expert at raw feeding. I told y'all this is the first dog I've ever totally raw fed from the very beginning. So if you have some suggestions, if you're raw feeding and you have like a way to do it that's really good, or a way to save money doing it, please share it with us, guys. We're all trying to learn together. I say it all the time. You don't have to do it the way I do it. Do it however you can do it. If you can only give organ meat from what you're butchering on your farm to your dogs, then good for you, and that's going to help them. It's anything helps, okay? Because if you can keep them healthy, you keep them out of the vet's office, and in the long run, you make a smarter, better dog. You guys have a blessed day. Thank you for watching Starkey Farmstead. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Is that good stuff? I do chop his meat up a little bit for him, guys. We noticed that if you give him an entire piece of meat, he's going to swallow the entire piece of meat. He eats 3 times a day. Puppies need to have their meals broken up into 3 feedings a day until he's at least 9 months old.